Hey everyone, One Big Boss here, and welcome back to New to Retro Reviews. As you can tell, we're going to be doing the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game for the Super Nintendo, an old classic, one of my favorites. And actually, it was the second review we did on here for New to Retro Reviews. So, one of the other reasons why I chose to decide to play this game is because not only is it as a childhood classic of mine and my friends, we all used to play this game a lot. I have begun recently rewatching the entire Power Rangers series. And some episodes are really good, and then you just watch those other ones that were so god-awful, you can't help but laugh. My sister and I, we were watching them for a while, and I've got up to the Power Rangers Lost in Space, or Power Rangers in Space, or whichever one it is. Lost in Space, yeah, I'm an idiot. But yeah, no, it was, I finished watching Turbo, and I can't really say that I liked Turbo that much. I think it's probably my least favorite of the series. I don't know why, I just didn't seem to like it as often. I don't know if it was because, the original cast of characters some that were original anyway, that you'd grown to know and love over the last few seasons, had all left. Like Jason David Frank and Johnny Young Bosch, they left. They left the other kid, Justin, behind. He was still the Blue Ranger this time. So it was kind of sad, it was a totally different switch up. Not that, the new ones didn't do a good job. The guy who took over as the Red Leader, TJ, he was pretty good. But I don't feel as if, they gave, a lot of characters time to really grow as much as the older series. I could be wrong about this, but that's just, from what I was watching. Although I will admit, Patricia Jai Lee as the Pink Ranger is probably one of my new favorite Rangers from the Turbo series, because I always thought she was, a beautiful girl. I mean, she is really beautiful. And, she had a pretty good voice on the show. And it wasn't until years later I realized, I'm playing Resident Evil 5, and all of a sudden, I recognized the voice, but I wasn't sure. And then, I saw an interview on Unwired TV. It's a thing on YouTube. They did a review for Jill Valentine's voice actress, and she was the new one to do the voice of Jill Valentine. Last one who did it was Catherine Disher from Resident Evil 3. And Umbrella Chronicles was actually Patricia Jai Lee as well, if I remember correctly. Which is pretty cool. And she was the voice actress and the motion capture artist for Jill Valentine in Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition. I'm trying to think what else. And she did it in Resident Evil 3, The Mercenaries 3D, but any other time Jill appeared in other Resident Evil games, Patricia Jai Lee did not come back to do the voice. And I don't know why. I mean, she was it was great. I think she was the best Jill they chose. The one for, what do you call it there? I'm trying to think here. Revelations wasn't bad, and the one for, who was the other one? For Marvel vs. Capcom 3 wasn't bad, because I think there were two. I don't know if it was the same person. I keep forgetting that. They didn't do a bad job, but Patricia Jai Lee is the best Jill pretty much since Catherine Disher, which, too bad they couldn't get her to come back. Which also, more history about that. Catherine Disher was also the voice of Jean Grey from the original X-Men cartoon, and she was also married in real life to the guy who voiced Professor Xavier in that show. Which is, it's pretty funny, but again, that's more useless trivia knowledge I've had. I mean, maybe if you watched my Let's Plays before with my buddies and a few other ones, you'll notice that I really do have a lot of useless TV and movie knowledge, especially when it comes to, voice actors. Because voice acting is a pretty interesting gig when you think about it. Some people, they've been on TV for so long, they've done cameos or, guest appearances and all that stuff, and then you never really see, something you don't see them, or you just know of them, but when they get a specific role, especially voice roles, like D.C. Douglas, that guy was in a lot of things. And for those of you who don't know who D.C. Douglas is, he is the voice actor for Albert Wesker, who's probably the most famous one. Many people prefer the Wesker of Richard Waugh, who did it in the Umbrella Chronicle. No, which one did he do? He did Resident Evil Code Veronica and Resident Evil 4, and I believe Wesker's Report was also his as well. I gotta make time to buy that thing today. But yeah, no, he was great. And then you look back at the stuff he was actually in when he was younger. And stuff I found out he was in a Steven Seagal movie, Under Siege 2, and he had a small speaking part in it, but it was pretty cool to see that, Oh man, I love the freaking music from this game, right here at the boss battles. They get me so hyped! But yeah, no, voice actors, they were all pretty much actors before, maybe unknown ones and everything, or at the time, nobody knew, they just had guest roles and stuff, Who's another one? Oh, speaking of another Power Ranger guy, Richard Epcar, who I met a couple of years ago. Great guy, funny as hell. Huge James Bond addict like myself. He and I were talking about James Bond, but then he posts on his Facebook all the time, like all the stuff that he was in. I don't know if any of you are Coca-Cola fans, but there was a Coke commercial, like I want to say maybe like late '90s, maybe early 2000s. And he was this daughter had some guy over her house, and they were both naked in bed, and the father comes to to see them, and you see that it's Richard Epcar banging on the door. It's hilarious. And the other one was he was in a show, I don't remember what it was, but it had Chachi in it, you know, Scott Baio. Yeah, I don't know if you remember Happy Days or anything else after that, but